Average Pat's Movie Reviews.
Hi everyone, Average Pat here to sit today to chat about the movie Captain Marvel. The film was released this past Friday, March 8th, and opened to spectacular numbers of $153 million. Easily the number one movie in the box office this weekend. The film stars Brie Larson as Veers, Carol Danvers, and Captain Marvel. Depends on what part of the movie you're at, and you'll understand what role she actually is. Samuel L. Jackson returns as Nick Fury in an amazingly computer de-aged process. Clark Gregg returns in his role as Phil Coulson in the same de-aging process as well. Ben Mendelsohn is in the movie, plays Talos. Jude Law is in the movie, plays Jan Rog. And Annette Bening is in and plays the Supreme Intelligence and another role that I can't ruin. So we'll leave her as the Supreme Intelligence. I don't do spoilers. This is a very big moment for Marvel Studios. This is the first movie that was primarily focused about a female lead. And amazingly, the story was written and directed primarily by a female. Her name was, let me look it up here, Anna Boden. Excuse me, I apologize for not having it written down. She helped do the screenplay and directed it, along with Ryan Fleck, who's her co-director, co-writer. And they did an amazing job. The storyline is a little bit different than most people are used to. Most people assume that it's always going to be one story and that it's going to take a certain role and it has to go that way. They have to improvise a lot because they don't have the same access to the comics histories as they do in the movies. They have to compress it. They have to make it the most efficient time, the most efficient way to introduce characters, and the most appropriate way to introduce characters. In my opinion, they did a very good job. Now, also in the days of post-Wonder Woman, where DC had the first female lead, I think this was handled a lot better than Wonder Woman was. And let me explain that. In Wonder Woman, she was already introduced into the DC universe in the movie Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. And in my opinion, that was a dishonor to her. It took a lot of the flair away from her, and the whole premise of her being on the scene and being involved in a fight that she had nothing to do with overall kind of took away from her character, especially since nobody in the movies really knew who she was. The fans didn't really know who she was unless you're a diehard DC comic fan. This movie is an origin story. It explains who Carol is, and it explains how she becomes Captain Marvel. And she wasn't introduced in the movie first. She was teased at the end of at the end of Infinity War, and is promised to be back in Endgame. However, she was not involved in any other movie. She wasn't shown on screen. She wasn't she wasn't named. Nothing had said anything about her being involved at all. Like I said, at the very end of Infinity War, she was teased. If you knew the stories, you knew the comics logos and stuff along those lines, you would understand what that was. But this one was a good story. It was a good, developed, woman-centric movie that didn't shove any kind of political agendas down anybody's throat. I was very pleased by the fact that many people that came out of the theater, guys, girls, kids, women, whoever it was, they all enjoyed it. Nobody said, well, that was a really bad movie, or, God, I'm tired of them trying to force a feminist agenda down my throat, or anything along those lines. There was nothing bad about it. Every person that was in the theater with me, and the theater was sold out, enjoyed it. It was a good movie. Lots of humor, lots of one-liners, lots of beautiful visuals. A little excessive at some points, actually, which I never thought I'd say about Marvel. But the character was well developed. The persona was awesome, and she was a person who was able to lead and did not need to have a guy there as backup. She didn't have to have a love interest. She didn't have to have a romantic interlude to make the story work. Wonder Woman had Chris Pine's character. And he was very integral to the story, and I'm not going to spoil that because if you haven't seen the movie, you need to watch it. It's a good movie. But it seemed a little cheap that she had to have a male there as a love interest. And in this one, there was no love interest. There's a powerful woman who was able to exist on her own and able to do her thing. She had a best friend as her companion in her storyline to help go through the storyline of not having understood exactly who she was and coming about to terms with who she had been and who she is, was done very well. And the explanations that they gave to understand how she came about and all that was done in very well displaced, well filmed, and well edited. Honestly, it was placed in a proper spot. It wasn't done out of line. It wasn't done in a forced manner. It felt natural where it fell into place. The other characters that were in this movie were just really incredible. Lashana Lynch plays Maria Rambeau, who's Carol's best friend when she's in the Air Force. They show clips and scenes of all that. Her daughter was adorable. Akira Akbar played Monica Rambeau, and she's just a hilarious little girl who's going to have a great future of acting. She's very pretty, very smart, delivers her lines, very wittily. It was just a very nice little thing to see. Again, the friendship and the relationships that she has, as opposed to a love interest story being the backbone of the film, to me made a little bit more sense. It made it a lot better movie. The other people that are in this movie that are kind of underappreciated and not used very well was Djimon Hounsou came back as Korath. Everybody remembers Korath from, well, you should remember Korath from Guardians of the Galaxy. He was the one who first discovered Star-Lord when he was stealing, and the famous line, "I'm Star-Lord," and Djimon Hounsou's line is, "Who?" So his character Korath has returned because this is all in the 90s as opposed to a modern-day movie. And Lee Pace came back as Ronan the Accuser. Obviously a big bad dude in Guardians of the Galaxy, but this is him before he became a super fanatic, if you will. He's a Kree warrior in this, and it explained as such in Guardian that he's a Kree super warrior in Guardians of the Galaxy. One thing that I have to point out is the very, very touching tribute to Stan Lee at the very beginning of the movie. The Marvel icon and logo that comes in usually flips through comic book images of all the different heroes and the different scenes from movies. Every single shot of that was Stan Lee and all of his cameos in all the movies he's done. And after it showed the Marvel logo, it said, "Thank you, Stan Lee." And that was very tastefully done, as this is the first movie to be released since his death. The first one to be completely done since his death. So to honor, the man as appropriate was very well done. There's so many great lines, so many great scenes, so much great music. Grew up on all this music, so it was good to me. Overall, it's just a great movie. It's a good, empowering movie. It has a lot of references to the Marvel Universe that are tied in, that if you watch it, you'll understand as they fall in place. You'll understand why certain people are certain ways. You'll understand references in the lines that they make in other movies. Nick Fury has a great line in Captain America: The Winter Soldier about his eye. How his dedication to people is a certain way. And, you see the way Phil Coulson was before he became really big up in the S.H.I.E.L.D. organization. Overall, I loved it. I honestly just gave it a rating on IMDb myself of 8 out of 10. So if I'm doing the 5 stars, I got to go with a 4.5 out of 5 on this one. Is it the perfect movie? No. Could they have done a little bit better? Maybe fleshed out some of the scenes a little bit more and explained a little bit more. But overall, it's a very well done movie that I really enjoyed, and I think it's a great family movie. No overt violence that's outrageous. It's all cartoonish in a way at some points because of how the powers that she has are. No sexuality in it. It was a very well done movie. It was neat. It's not the typical fare of what you expect, and I embrace that. And it embraces that, and I embrace that fact too, that it did very well on its own. Very well established in the MCU. Carol does have a role in Endgame, and it is teased at the end. As always, it's a Marvel movie. Make sure you stay for the credits. There are 2 credit scenes, both very important. They explain a lot in the MCU, and you have to see them to understand them. I'm not going to ruin them. I'm not going to say what they are. Maybe I'll start doing the spoiler-included reviews at some point, but as of right now, I'm not doing it. So go see Captain Marvel. Enjoy it, and tell me what you think of it. Let me know what your opinion of it was. What you think overall. If the visuals were good, too much. If the characters were very well developed, what you personally think. I look forward to hearing from it. As always, if you like my posts, please like them on YouTube, subscribe to my page, like them on Facebook, let everybody know about it. I'm trying to get bigger and better, and I want to know what other movies you guys want me to review. Later on, I'll be doing, later this week, I'm going to see Wonder Park with my kids. I'll be doing a review of that, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you very much. Have a great day.